Give my daughter your car. She deserves it. A little background. First, I have a fairly decent car for it being so old, and I have zero interest in getting anything different since it's reliable, still gets great gas mileage, is completely paid off and handles great. It's blue with a massive rust spot on the rear passenger side just above the gas tank, but I don't care. It gives the car character, you know? Second, this story takes place in Michigan, where anyone who lives here knows the roads suck. Potholes, uneven streets, and jagged pavement on every stretch of road you'll ever drive down. Getting a flat tire at least once in your life while living here is both a guarantee and a rite of passage. So, I was driving through town after my shift at work and had to take a really awful street. I do my best to avoid potholes, but they can't always be avoided. Lo and behold, my rear driver's side tire takes a hit. I could feel that something was wrong with the tire, so I pulled off the road as soon as I could. Turns out I'd picked a used car lot and had plenty of room to inspect the damage. When I stepped out of the car to look at the tire, another car pulled into the lot behind me and proceeded to park on the other side. I noticed that the tire was low, but not flat. Fortunately, the pothole had only loosened the seal on the stem valve, and I could fix it with the can of Fix-A-Flat that I keep in my trunk. While I was fussing with my tire, the dealership owner came out to greet me, most likely assuming I was there to either trade in my car or shop around. When he saw that my tire was low, he insisted I pull my car further away from the side of the road and up toward the front of the dealership building for safety reasons. I agreed and moved my car where instructed. Unbeknownst to me, I was being watched by a dreaded entitled parent and her demonic spawn. The owner gave me a hand and helped with my tire, made sure the valve was secured and that the pressure was stable. I thanked him for his help and sat back down in my car. As I put the key in the ignition, I heard something bang against my window and looked up to see a woman, the stereotypical Karen, trying to get my attention. I rolled my window down to see what she wanted. My bad. Me. Yeah? What's up? Entitled parent. Are you through yet? Me. Am I what? Entitled parent. Through. Are you through because my daughter's been waiting long enough? I looked past her and saw her 16-year-old daughter dressed in a dark miniskirt, white tank top that showed everything, and 4-inch heels. This is February, by the way. She was also wearing so much cheap makeup you'd think she was auditioning for a role as the Joker. Me. Waiting for what? Entitled parent. Don't act cute. She needs her turn. You've taken up enough of our time. Me. What are you talking about? Entitled parent. Are you stupid? Your test drive is over. Now it's entitled brat's turn. The entitled brat is standing behind her mom with her arms crossed over her chest and giving me a smug, "Wow, are all you commoners so stupid?" type of grin on her arrogant face. Me. Oh. I figured it out quick and tried to defuse the situation. I wasn't on a test drive, I own. Entitled parent. I said get out. Me. This is my car. Entitled parent. No, it's not. I just saw you pull back into the lot. We were behind you the whole time, so don't try to lie to me. Me. I wasn't. Entitled parent. You didn't even go inside the building to sign the papers, so I know you're lying to me. You didn't buy this car. You're just being a stubborn little biatch. Me. No, this is my car. I have the reg. Entitled parent. What the F is wrong with you? Get out now. Me. No, this is my car. Entitled parent. No, it's not. My daughter wants it, and I'm going to buy it for her right now. She tried to pull open my door, but thankfully I locked it when I got inside. Entitled parent. Give me the key. Before I had the chance to say anything else, she reached through my window and made a grab for the key in the ignition. The key that was on a keyring with my apartment key and 4 other keychains, so clearly not the dealership's key. When she tried to pull it out, I grabbed her arm and pushed her back. Me. Get away. Entitled parent. You little biatch. You just assaulted me. I quickly rolled up my window and was ready to turn on the engine and drive off when I saw the owner returning. Dealership owner. Ma'am, what's going on? Entitled parent. This little slut just assaulted me. Call the police. She attacked me because I told her to let my daughter have a test drive, and now she's trying to steal the car. The owner looked at me, looked at my worn-out, dirty car with the faded bumper sticker on the trunk and gave the woman the classic "Are you serious right now?" stare. Dealership owner, "Ma'am, this car isn't for sale. This is her car." Entitled parent, "No, it's not. Until she signs the paper, it's not hers, and my daughter wants to drive it. She just got her license, and I promised her I'd get her a blue car. This is the only blue car in the lot." It was not. There was another blue car parked behind her, and yes, her 16-year-old daughter who just got her license was going to test drive a car in heels. Dealership owner, "Ma'am, this car isn't mine to sell. It already belongs to her." Entitled parent, "No, it doesn't. I saw her drive the car onto the lot, and I saw you telling her to pull up to the building. Stop trying to lie to me." Dealership owner, "She had a low tire. She pulled off." Entitled parent, "Why won't you let my daughter have her turn? She deserves her turn. Is it because my daughter isn't all tarred up like this little slut?" Note what the daughter was wearing. I was wearing blue jeans, tennis shoes, a baggy t-shirt with Kirby on it, and a green jacket over the top. The only visible skin was my hands, neck, and face. Dealership owner, "Ma'am, stop. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Entitled parent, "No, my daughter needs this car. I promised her, and all you're doing is wasting my time." Dealership owner, "I'm asking you nicely to leave before I call the cops." Entitled parent, "You do that, and I'll tell the cops that this arch assaulted me, pushed my daughter, and that you're selling stolen cars. Now, give my daughter this car right now or else." She actually said, "or else," like a cartoon villain. Dealership owner, "Ma'am, leave." Entitled parent, "This is ridiculous." She pulled out her phone to call the cops herself. "You're going to regret being so disrespectful to me. All you had to do was sell me this car. But no, you decided this slut was better than my daughter. My daughter deserves this car." I know I wasn't in the wrong, but I was still nervous. I looked at the owner through the windshield, and he gave me a look that said, "Everything will be fine. Watch this." About 5 minutes later, a patrol car pulled up and the officer approached the owner. Before he even had the chance to ask any questions, the entitled parent began shrieking at him at full volume. Entitled parent, "I want that arch arrested. She assaulted me and my daughter, and she's trying to steal my daughter's car." The cop was unfazed and just looked at me, then over to the owner without blinking. Cop, "Hey, Jerry, is this true?" Dealership owner, "Not a word of it, Frank. And if you want, you can check the lot security cameras." The entitled parent was fuming, and the entitled brat just rolled her eyes, like we were boring her. Entitled parent, "Why don't you believe me? You're not seriously going to take her word over mine. Just look at her." Cop, "Ma'am, I need to get both sides of the story. Now, you said she tried to steal." Entitled parent, "Yes, that's my daughter's car." Cop, "All right, fine. That's easy enough to prove." The cop walked over to the passenger's side of the door, on the opposite side from where the entitled parent was still seething, and motioned for me to open the door. I did, and he of course asked for my ID, my registration, and my proof of insurance. It didn't take the cop long to notice my name on the license and the registration, which was also dated from almost 2 years ago, are a match. He just gave a nod, handed me back my stuff, and closed the door. Cop, "Ma'am, that's her car." Entitled parent, "Not possible. She just got here. She couldn't have signed the papers. Why are you all against my daughter? She needs a car." Cop, "Ma'am, you do realize it's a crime to try to file a false police report. This car isn't stolen, and I seriously doubt she assaulted you. I'm going to look at the cameras, and if I find that you're lying to me..." Entitled parent grabbed entitled brat's arm and pulled her along. Entitled parent, "F this place. All these cars are trash anyway. My daughter deserves better than anything that slut would ever drive." The cop stuck around until the entitled parent left, apologized to me for the disturbance, and wished me a good day. Before he left, he said goodbye to the owner, again calling him by his first name, and was on his way. Dealership owner, "Don't worry about her. I don't think she'll be back. And if she does show up again, my brother Frank will be back too." He slipped me a business card, joking that if I ever needed another car in the near future, he'd ensure that no crazy people were hiding in the trunk. I thanked the man for coming to my rescue, drove off, and I've been trying to figure out why my old car was so important to the entitled parent ever since. Seriously, it's not that great of a car. Old, losing its pep, and needing some TLC. But I still love my blue bastard. I don't care if you're living here, my daughter wants to rent this place. My wife and I met online and got married in my hometown. After the wedding, I moved to Mississippi to be with her. She had a full ride and assistantship at Mississippi State, so it didn't make sense for her to give that up. We were fortunate in that her grandfather had an extra property he wasn't using, and he lets us stay there rent-free. It's basically just a shack in the middle of the woods that was built by an idiot who has no business playing with Legos, much less building an actual structure, but hey, it's free. My wife's schedule varies, and she was alone at the house when the entitled mother showed up. So, my wife heard someone drive up to the shack. Our house is really out of the way, so we don't get many random visitors. She was going for her handgun when she saw a slightly older lady walk by the window. Not seeing her as a threat, my wife answered the door when the knock came. Wife, can I help you? Entitled mother. Yes, I want to rent this place for my daughter. Wife. Oh, sorry, but me and my husband are living here. Entitled mother. Well, my daughter is in college and needs a place to stay. Wife. Well, that's great and all, but like I said, I live here. Entitled mother. I was hoping to talk to the owner? Wife. Getting irritated. No, the house isn't for. Entitled mother. I know him personally, you see, and I wanted to talk to him about renting. Wife. I don't care if you know him, your daughter can't stay here. My husband and I live here, what aren't you getting about that? Entitled mother. Young lady, I'm sure the owner won't appreciate that you're talking to me like this. Wife. Well, I'm sure my grandfather won't give a damn that I told you that your daughter is going to have to find another place to live. Entitled mother looked shocked that the owner was actually my wife's grandfather, and that she wasn't some random squatter living in his house. She huffed, turned on her heel, and went back to her car. My wife then went back inside and created a sign that is still taped to our door to this day. We are not and will not be renting. My friend's dad tried to steal my bra, claims that I stole it from his wife, and then my friend finds the stash of her other friend's undergarments. Years ago, I was at my friend's birthday sleepover. We were swimming in her pool and drinking wine coolers, with her mom's supervision, still illegal, but we didn't get drunk, just slightly tipsy. So anyway, my friend's dad had a strict no locked doors policy. I decided to take a shower, so of course I locked the door. I was bathing in my friend's bathroom, so I had her bedroom door shut and the bathroom door locked, if that makes sense. I heard my friend's bedroom door open and shouted, "Occupied," out of the shower. I got no response except the door shutting quickly, which I thought was just one of the other girls walking in and seeing that I was in there. I stepped out of the shower and stayed in the bathroom while I changed and dried off. All of a sudden, the bedroom door opened again, and this time when I said occupied, the person didn't stop and went straight for the bathroom door. They jiggled the handle extremely violently and then pounded on the door. I stayed silent as I thought there was someone in the house trying to get to me. 10 seconds later, I heard her dad's voice yell, "Open this door right now." I'd already changed into clean clothes, so I slowly opened the door. "Why the hell was the door locked?" he shouted as I apologized and explained that I was showering and wanted privacy. He said that was no excuse. I pushed that aside as I thought he was in a bad mood or something had happened and he couldn't do anything because the door was locked. I stuffed my dirty clothes into my bag and went back to the party. We were all settling down in sleeping bags since the living room was big enough for us. I set my bag right next to me as I have some valuable stuff: phone, charger, money, and ID. We watched movies until 4 in the morning, which is when we started to go to sleep. I got a strange feeling that I was being watched, so I stayed up for another hour on my phone until I fell asleep. I heard rustling next to my head. I opened my eyes to see my friend's dad squatting next to me, rummaging through my bag. He pulled out my dirty bra and underwear and stood up. I screamed at the top of my lungs. He dropped my undies and everyone woke up. I screamed, "What the hell are you doing?" as everyone saw him dropping my undies. He tried to defend himself as his wife came rushing in. "I was making sure you didn't have any drugs," was the excuse he went with. I ran over to his wife and explained what happened. The dad was trying to say that I'm a lying skank and that I forced him to hold my undies. When they went to a different room to talk, I explained to my friend what her dad did and she told someone else and I guess it spread around. Everyone was panicking, making sure he didn't take their panties and bras, and the police were called. 10 seconds later, the wife screamed and we all ran into the room to make sure she was all right and everything turned to chaos. He had an area, which his wife didn't know about, with girls' underwear with name tags under each like Cindy's underwear, and there were stains on some of them. Girls were crying and panicking. The police arrived and we explained to them what happened and he was taken away. A few months later I went to court. As my parents were pressing charges, I explained what happened and we won the case. Then, a few months after that, I was talking to that same friend and she said her parents had gotten a divorce. The police found tons of illegal child images on his laptop. He is now in jail. It turns out that her dad brought the wine coolers trying to get us drunk and her mother saved us from who knows what, because she cut us off of the wine coolers after like 2 drinks. Who knows what would have happened if we were all passed out drunk. His daughter, 16 now, went to visit him with her mother just to disown him as her father. When he arrived at the little phone booth thing, she said that half his hair was pulled out, he was bruised, his uniform was dirty, with who knows what, and he could barely walk.